It started with rain. The kind that makes the world feel quiet. The kind that makes you notice the small things, like how her laugh could warm an entire afternoon. They met by accident, same cafe, same table, two strangers sharing a silence that felt like peace. It was one of those chance encounters that you read about in books, but never really believe could happen to you, till it does. What began as just coffee, a simple, shared moment of warmth on a dreary day, soon turned into conversation. And what began as conversation became a story neither of them wanted to end. She was sunlight, pure, unfiltered, unapologetic sunlight. She had a way of finding joy in the most ordinary things, a smile that could chase away any shadow. He, on the other hand, was quiet storms. Deep, thoughtful, with a world of emotions swirling just beneath the surface. You wouldn't know it just by looking at him, but when he spoke you could feel the weight and the sincerity in every word. Separately, they were just two people navigating their own lives, but together, they just made sense. Their differences didn't clash. They complemented each other, creating a balance that felt both exciting and incredibly safe. It was like they were two pieces of a puzzle that had been searching for each other without even knowing it. But life, as we all know, has a cruel and often unpredictable way of testing love. Just when they were building their world, a world that felt unshakable, an opportunity arose. She received an offer, a dream job, the kind you can't just turn down. The catch: it was overseas, thousands of miles away. An ocean between them. The night she told him, the air was thick with unspoken fears. But they were young, and they were in love, and they believed their love was stronger than any distance. She promised she'd come back. She held his face in her hands, her eyes searching his, and said, "Don't wait too long." He smiled, a brave, sad smile, and replied, "Forever isn't long for me." So she left, and the first year was filled with hope. He wrote letters every single week, not just emails or texts, but actual handwritten letters. He poured his heart out onto paper, describing his days, telling her about the small changes in their city, reminding her of the little moments they shared. He'd walk to the post office, the weight of his words in his hands, and send them off across the globe, picturing her smile as she read them. He believed in the power of those words to bridge the distance, to keep their connection alive. The second year, things started to change. Her replies became shorter, less frequent. The vibrant details of her new life started to fade into vague updates. The time difference became a bigger obstacle. The calls grew more strained. He could feel her slipping away, but he didn't know how to hold on, so he stopped sending the letters. Not because he stopped loving her, but because the silence on the other end was becoming too loud to bear. He never stopped writing them, though. He kept a journal, filling its pages with all the things he wanted to say, all the moments he wished they could share. The journal became a testament to a love that was still very much alive, at least on his side. The third year was a year of silent hope. He still checked his phone every night before going to sleep, a small, foolish ritual he couldn't break. He'd stare at the dark screen, just hoping, praying, that her name would suddenly light it up. A text, a call, anything. But the screen remained dark. The silence stretched on, becoming a heavy blanket he carried with him everywhere. His friends told him to move on, that he was wasting his life waiting for a ghost. But how do you move on from someone who still lives in every corner of your heart? 5 years passed. The world around him had moved on, whether he wanted it to or not. The cafe where they first met, their sanctuary, closed down. One day he walked by and saw a for-lease sign in the window. The table they had claimed as theirs, the one by the window where they shared their first real conversation, was gone. Just an empty space, with the memory of it, the ghost of their laughter, the echo of their words that stayed. It was stronger than the years that tried to erase it, stronger than the new storefronts that took the cafe's place. He would watch other couples, new lovers, walking hand in hand, and feel a pang of something that wasn't quite jealousy, but a deep, profound sadness. He watched people fall in love, and he watched people fall apart, but he couldn't bring himself to start over, because in his mind, his heart was still sitting at that table, in that now vanished cafe, waiting for a girl who said she'd be back soon. 10 years, a full decade of unanswered promises, an entire chapter of his life defined by waiting. He grew older, quieter. The vibrant young man who fell in love on a rainy day was now a man with lines of sorrow etched around his eyes. The world had raced ahead, filled with technological advancements, new trends, and shifting landscapes. But he was stuck in a time capsule of his own making. He didn't want to move on. Moving on felt like a betrayal to the promise he had made, not just to her, but to himself. Then one cold winter evening, something shifted. Snow was falling softly, blanketing the city in a quiet white hush. He found himself walking, without any real destination, until his feet led him to the old park bench where they had said their last goodbye. The memory was so vivid it was almost painful. Her tears, the chill in the air, the weight of her promise hanging between them. He sat down on the cold, snow-dusted bench, the same spot from a lifetime ago. He sat there for a long time, watching the snowflakes melt on his shoulders, feeling the sting of the cold on his skin. And then he whispered to the empty air, to the falling snow, to her ghost, "I kept my promise." And for the first time in 10 long years, he felt a sense of release. He stood up from the bench, leaving behind the weight of a decade of waiting. He turned and walked home, his steps feeling lighter than they had in years. He didn't stop loving her. That part of him would likely always be hers. But in that moment, he just stopped waiting. He stopped waiting for a love that was never going to return. He understood, finally, that letting go isn't about forgetting the person you loved. It's not about erasing the memories or pretending it never happened. It's about forgiving time for not giving you what you had hoped for. It's about accepting that some stories, no matter how beautiful, have an ending. And it's about giving yourself permission to finally turn the page. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Take care.